the Florida Writer Podcast, a discussion about writing and other things. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Florida Writer Podcast. Today, I have with me Suzanne Lynn. I am so lucky. I am so excited to talk to you. Suzanne, why don't you give our audience a 60-second elevator pitch about who you are and who you interview?
Allison, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. Suzanne Lynn, I have been in radio for 25 years, most recently on Z 88.3 in Central Florida, the Christian station, for about 8 years. And God really just called me away from radio to start my digital business. So now I help authors sell books through radio and video interviews. And I brand them for the author's books. And it's just a promotional piece so that authors can get the word out there now. I mean, now book signings have pretty much ceased. And how do people get face-to-face? How do you see the heart behind the book? You stand out, I believe, with video interviews. But it's just cool because I get to talk to authors around the world. So that's what I'm most excited about.
All right, you got to start with the beginning. What is a branded interview?
Okay, so a branded interview is 5 minutes of me talking to the author back and forth with a picture of the book on the screen, with a place where you can purchase the book the entire time the video is on. It's just customized to that specific author's book so that they can talk about it and they can show their emotions. And then they use that for posting on social media and YouTube and websites. More importantly, they use them for the author's page on Amazon so that people can see the emotion and make that heart connect. And also they use these for sending to media outlets so that the interviewers can know what kind of interview they would be. You know, being in radio for 25 years, these authors would send me their books and please have me on. Well, all I knew about them was that they could write. I am an audible medium. I need to know if you can speak. Can you listen to questions and answer them succinctly? When you have something like this for them, they know what they're getting. And then I posted on my show in Central Florida so that they can be a guest on there. It reaches about 500,000 people, and it's just fun. So I kind of kept my foot in radio a little bit, but helping authors sell their books.
That is fantastic. The authors are able to have an interview that they can put on their website that you share with your audience, and then they can forward that same interview on to as many different platforms, interview platforms that they can reach. Are they sending them to radio stations? Are they sending them to TV stations? Do you know who they actually send them to?
Yes, to all. And it's really not just interview platforms. That's just the type of video that it is. In other words, it's not the author just on by themselves. I'm asking about, where did the book originate? How much of this is true? What was your passion? What do you want them to know about your book? What do you want them to feel? So things like that. And I mean, just being able to go in and post them into groups, in books, book club groups, LinkedIn, your website, man. If you do a video like that, it's just got to go on your website if you've got a landing page for your book. But yeah, as far as the media, just sending them to local media with your book and going, I am accompanying my PDF, and here's an interview link so you can see what type of interview I would be. Because honestly, they only care about what their listeners, they want a good interview. You're there about your book. They want to make sure you can relay the information, properly and stuff. So it's relationship marketing. And that's where I hear so many authors get stuck when I ask them, so what marketing are you doing and how's it working for you? I mean, they're almost in tears at that point. They're like, I thought it was going to be easier. I have such a passion for my book and I thought everybody would love it as much as me. But you've got to move into that relationship marketing where you're reaching people emotionally, because your book cover, if that's all they see, it's among a million other books. What makes you stand out?
There used to be a one sheet letter, and it's like a query that you would send off to, say, newspapers and TV stations. This is replacing that, or is this accompanying that?
I would say it accompanies. because to me, you want to reach people. However, if they're video, if they're visual learners or consumers of information, if they're audible, if they're more reading, the more information you can give them, I think that, especially easy, whatever, just right at their fingertips. But I just think the best part about having a video to promote your book is that you're building relationships. People are getting to know you. And I'll tell you what, my husband is the one who kind of, I don't know, I feel like now looking back, he tricked me. But to get me excited about football games, he'd be like, all right, the game's on Sunday, 3:00. Now you got to understand that the coach of this team used to be the assistant coach of this one. So he knows his plays. And I'm like, oh, okay, what time does the game come on? He got me into the emotional side of it. And that's what we can do as authors with books is go, okay, all I see is the cover and a picture. But man, when I know the story behind it, I try to pry it out of my hands.
I love what you're saying. We as writers know our audience, or we ideally know who our audience is. And it's not everybody. If somebody tells you their book is for everybody, writers tend to roll their eyes and be like, no, it's not for everybody. It's for that particular group of people that love that genre. But what you're saying is that it's not for the people that love that genre. It's for the people who want to meet you as the writer. And Absolutely. It's taking the book and that audience out and creating a whole new audience.
Exactly. I mean, and honestly, kind of getting away from what my product is, because I'm not here just to pitch it, but marketing, generally speaking, is moving from traditional to relationships. So, for example, there's less billboards being bought. There's less, remember the days of the yellow pages? Well, it's no longer. Like, podcasts are very popular. They call that the advertising you want to listen to. And it's just, the traditional ways are going out, and especially millennials, they want the curtain pulled back. They want to see who Oz is now. They want to know what's behind the brand. What do you support? They don't just take things at surface value. Like, my mom used to buy Crest, so when I got married, I bought Crest. I don't know why. She did it. I did it. Well, millennials aren't doing that now. Where do they believe, environmentally? Where do they stand politically and social, in a social way? So it's reaching people emotionally in all types of advertising and marketing now. That's just the direction it's going. And I think that's why podcasts are so exciting. I really believe that we're not far from businesses not having a podcast. We're going to look at them as businesses that don't have a website. Like, really? You're not having a two-way conversation with your clients and customers? Like, you're old-fashioned with just a website? Like, they've got to understand that it's two-way now. It really is. You've got to interact. They want to be heard, and they want to hear the truth, and they can smell a rat and a fink a mile away. It's hard to fake it when you're doing videos and podcasts and not be real.
Absolutely. So do many of your clients, do they freeze once they realize they're on camera?
No, just like you did, Allison, honestly, I take a little bit of time beforehand, and you couldn't have made me feel any more comfortable. It's like, we're just a couple of girlfriends here having coffee. And the truth is, people don't want perfection. I mean, if you mess up, we'll laugh about it. And some of my clients are even like, oh, just keep it in. They know that that's me, That's really what it is. Just, who are you? That's what it comes down to. That should be my new branding. Who are you?
Who are you? The real world wants to know.
Yeah. They don't want somebody who's fake or, hiding behind just a product anymore.
What else about marketing can you tell me?
Well, I would say that once the book is written, we're probably putting ourselves in the corner as far as marketing. If you haven't asked yourself before you wrote the book, who is your audience and what's the point for me writing this? You're really well down the rabbit hole by the time you and I are talking. Is it about just getting the story that's been in your head out and on paper for many years? That's great. But if it's really not about money, then don't be surprised if it doesn't sell. Like, know before you start writing the book, what is the goal? And, not just what it's about, but.
That makes it so much easier when you really define who your audience is at the get-go. And my dog just walked in. So if y'all hear her
Hey,
breathing in
baby.
the background, she likes to make a presentation whenever I'm making a
That's
podcast.
awesome. Yeah,
So
that's great. That's
hi
great.
audience, say hello to Jameson. Jameson, say hi to everyone. Having been on radio for so many years, how do you determine what books you're going to promote when you've received like hundreds? Do you receive like hundreds of queries
Oh,
for help?
oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and just kind of going back, it's hard as a radio personality to know who you're going to pick and which book you want to talk about, because you're really limited before you get on the phone with the author to know what kind of interview they're going to give you. I mean, the whole world now is set up for quick interviews, fast, quick social media. I mean, podcasts, thankfully, still, pretty long form. But when you're talking to a radio personality or a TV personality and they're talking about having you on the air, they're not going to give you 20 minutes. They're probably talking 2 or 3 minutes. What can you show them that's, going to encourage them to say, hey, they'd be a great interview? Because at that point, it's not so much about your book as it is how you're going to present yourself to their audience and their listeners. So,
what's your favorite part about interviewing authors?
I used to pray, God, just give me a job where I could travel around the world. And it's not so much about seeing the places. I know that sounds crazy. Of course, I would not have my eyes closed if I traveled, but it would be more about meeting people and being able to have conversations. And I just believe everybody's got a story. What was a pivotal point in your life? And a couple of days ago, I said to my husband, oh my gosh, God answered my prayer. I am traveling around the world with these authors, virtually. I'll be like, hey, listen, I got an author call from Singapore, and then Hong Kong, and then several from London. And it really is, the world is able to be all in reach of all of us because of technology. So that's my favorite part, is getting to meet people all around the world. And, hey, how's COVID affecting you? Where are you at? How are you emotionally and your family dealing with this? Like, it's a gift. It really is. I have tears in my eyes thinking about it. I'm grateful.
Suzanne, let's suppose somebody wants to do it yourself interview video or a video for their own website. What tips would you recommend?
Okay, so there's a lot. If you want to do there's obviously professional options out there, but if you want to do it yourself, one of the first things I would consider is having the video at eye level. And even as you're watching the news and people are zooming in, they're looking up their nose, like eye level, or looking down, especially for women with a little chin thing happening there. And actually a little bit of dark blush on your chin will make it look like a shadow. So you cut that double chin. If your background is dark, you want to have light clothing, vice versa, because you want to have contrast. You don't want a window behind you because then you will be backlit. Make sure that you have earbuds or headphones, earbuds or, something smaller so that it's not too intrusive, it's not distracting, but you'll get feedback if you don't have that. Really being cognizant of the backgrounds and making sure, here's another one that really people miss, it's just a little bit of headroom above your head. You want to take in as much of the screen as you can, especially if you're being interviewed by someone. You want to both be the same size as far as visually on the screen, but not too much headspace. I think those are kind of the basic things. But the big one, please hold your phone horizontally, not vertically. It's natural for us to do it vertical, but that's when you get the 2 black strips on the side of your screen.
Okay, so I did an interview for somebody and they kept saying, no, and they're like, that was great, but you got to hold your camera horizontally. And I was like, okay.
It's hard. I know.
So
it's not easy to
I didn't realize that that's the reason. Okay, I was very curious, but you did give us the pro tip about the blush on the chin.
I know, right underneath on the neck. And have it come around your jawline, and then all of a sudden you've taken like 15 pounds off your.
Again, pro tip, works for men, works for women.
Sure does. Sure does. Absolutely.
I love that. That's awesome. That is totally awesome. Suzanne, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, I would love that. I love to just chat. Welcome to just go to my website is probably the easiest thing. And that is TriangleMedia.biz. And if you're an author, you can go to TriangleMedia.biz/authors.
Suzanne, are you ready to switch gears and move on to our rapid fire questions?
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Am I nervous? Yes, I wasn't nervous before.
What color is the roof of your house?
The roof of our house is a combination of browns and tans and beiges.
You're probably wondering why I'd ask that. I just happen to look out my window and my neighbors are getting a new roof. So, you know.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, we're one good Florida storm away from needing a new one. Yeah.
That happens. That happens. What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
Oh, this is so embarrassing. Okay. I like to start my day watching the 1960s Batman series. My husband and I eat breakfast.
All right. I am totally surprised. But I envision Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
I can see the whole tights, the whole thing. I got it.
Oh my gosh. I am so embarrassed. I'm taking my glasses off. I can feel my ears burning. I'm so embarrassed. You know what? We want to start our day off with fun, and I've always loved Batman. And so now we'll turn it on. I'll be making breakfast. I'm like, which one is it? Oh, it's Two-Face. Okay, let's not tell many people this, Well, I guess I blew that today. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is leading perfectly into my last question, which is, do movies ever measure up to the book?
I'm a very, very visual person. I get so wrapped up in movies. To me, and I know this isn't going to be popular, there have been some that measure up. I actually put myself into a movie like I'm a character. And that's why I've actually adopted a saying that I say when I get too upset about something that's going on, change the channel. Because I can so put myself into a character, I forget. If I get too upset, change the channel. Just change the channel. It's okay. It's not real. But that's how intense it is for me.
That's really good advice. I think we could use it in all aspects of our lives. Whenever something is a little bit less pleasant than we'd like, we can just say, let's just change the channel for now. Come back to this one later.
We can turn back. Right, exactly.
It'll still be there.
Yes, it will. It's going to.
Suzanne Lynn, thank you so very much for stopping by. This has been a great interview. I am so excited to go look at some of the videos that you have done, because I believe that that's the area that writers really need to make sure they take themselves. And I love the suggestion of putting them on their Amazon page.
And make sure that they're decent. You don't have to do professional, but at least make sure they're good quality. Please have good internet, because a bad video can make a really bad impression on the book. It's kind of a representation of it. So
again, another pro tip. Again, one more time, Suzanne Lynn, thank you for stopping by.
Allison, you're awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
You have been listening to the Florida Writer Podcast. Allison out. Suzanne Lynn has been in radio for the last 25 years. She was an on-air personality on Z88.3 in Central Florida 8 years before leaving to run her own digital media company, Triangle Media. She is passionate about helping authors create branded interview-style videos so they can sell more books. She currently hosts her own show on a Central Florida radio station that reaches 500,000 listeners. Every Monday, noon to 1, you can hear authors share their books on her show, Triangle Spotlight. For more information about Suzanne Lynn, visit her at her website, TriangleMedia.biz. For more information about the Florida Writers Association, visit us at floridawriters.biz.